What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. I'm gonna try to do a video this weekend, another historical video. But I want to make this quick video and talk about something, stuff that's really in your face, it's disgusting. It's the issue of all this immigration coming in this country. Uh, they're doing that, to basically replace you or to flood it, because you always hear that the black population is what, 13%, 13%. It was staying stagnant all them years, and that is not accurate, man. It's been 13% for I don't know how long. And if you used to travel around this country, certain spots, you've seen black folks a heavy number, man. And you gotta understand too that, and I've always emphasized, I emphasize how the original people in America were so-called black, because we were, even though some of our people still want to believe that they're descendant of African slaves, which they're not. Some of people want to believe that majority of light-skinned so-called black people is due to rape, when we always had lighter-skinned Negroes. We always had our people various in skin tone before white people. Um, and then our names are not white. Our names come from black Europeans or Negroes here. Aboriginal blacks are already here. Europeans and Aboriginal blacks are here. Remember, our people already spoke in the English language. We didn't learn that from white folks. They learned that from us. But you can't tell some of the people anything because they bought into them being slaves. You listen to people like Henry Louis Gates, who was a coon. Okay, he can't find himself a black woman. So when you listen to these so-called educated Negroes, these boule Negroes, like I said in other videos, you chasing the tail that's not there. You know, or you trying to look for something, but you don't have no clues to where it's at. And I noticed with this immigration stuff, even with that Egyptian dude years ago, that black dude from Egypt, they wanted him to classify as white. And then they have some of these Africans who come over here and classify them as white. They do that. And this is a way to boost up their numbers, because they're not really having them kids like that. Their population not growing like that. And then when you think about so-called Latinos, they vary in different skin tone. Well, basically very different racial groups. But see, they'll lump all of them into one quote group and then basically just call them white, while keeping us at 13%. They flood these people in, man, especially the Democratic Party, in hopes that the people vote Democrat. And then basically to flood out the black population, and then use other blacks to replace us, because they know that we're larger than what they're telling you. But yet some Negroes with the white wives and their white husbands are not going to believe that or even promote that, because they have a sick love for white folks, man. They do not want to challenge anything. So you're going to have to understand that these white folks will never tell you the truth. These others will never tell you. All these other groups who do not look like us and do not come from the Aboriginal lineage of this country are foreigners. But see, we got to stop thinking of ourselves as foreigners and keep calling ourselves descendants of Africans. No, we're not. We're descendants of the Aboriginal Indian blacks that were here. And once you realize that, you realize that this is your native land. You're not a foreigner. But we've been so programmed to hate America and to so romanticize Africa that we're basically giving away our identity, run away from our true identity. And then while they floodgating these other people in this country, then they're going to reclassify some of them as us. Some of us need to wake up. The reason I said several videos ago how some of the older blacks failed us, and some of the Negroes today are doing it, continuing it, a lot of them were too worried about viewing themselves as equal to white folks. They wanted to go to school with white folks, want to be near white folks, instead of continuing to build better within their own, man. They seen that the greatest achievement to have or to reach the pinnacle level is to gain white acceptance or even marry and procreate with them, which is sick. And that's all it's doing is bleach you out. I said before how there was an attempt to bleach out black populations globally. They've done it in the past and they're doing it right now in front of your very eyes. In Australia, they're trying to bleach out the black population to this very day. And they present to you the mulattoes who they mostly go and marry white. Right now, perfect example, Denzel Washington doing a movie in Hannibal. Hannibal was a freaking Negro, man. The Carthaginians were Negroes, man. But the mulattoes who are there now are mad in upper arms because, like I said, those are mulattoes. Those are people who are a deep black-white mixture. That's all. They fix mulattoes. And now they hate the very fact that the people who they've been programmed to hate, but who actually they have some of their blood and original people of that land were people who they can't stand, who they right now enslaving in those North African countries, or they're basically beating them, treating them as second-class citizens, were the once the rulers there, and they just the mixed off-breed children. And them bastards can't stand. This is what you get with a lot of mulattoes. Over, like I said before, yet in India, where you have your original black population and your paler population, then you have so many people who are very different degrees of mixture in India from that black-white mixture. Then you see in the Pacific Islands, you see how you have those quote fixed mulattoes over in Hawaii. Hell, even in Samoa. You have a lot of fixed mulattoes there. And then you tell them who the original people are there, they freak out. Because they hate the original people of their culture, but they wouldn't have taken the culture and say it's theirs when it comes from the original black population in those regions, the original melanated people of those regions. So these individuals can't stand you, but they love your culture, and that's how a lot of these mulattoes are, because they take the side of the oppressor, the white folks, or the other, or the paler Asian. They have done this globally. And then just classify darker people as sub-Saharan African. and some Negroes continue to buy that and push that. And you try to tell them that anything else, they get mad. So when you hear Negroes tell you that you're a descendant of African slaves, they're very uninformed, or they're just ignorant. Or they're very uninformed, or they're just extremely ignorant. They don't want to know the truth, all right? They're extremely ignorant. Don't care to know the truth. Don't want to know the truth. And just want to continue to view themselves as a slave, when the original slaves were white. But it can be a head scratcher. Why would individuals want to be a quote descendant of African slaves? But this is what has been ingrained in many of us, and so we have taken and ran with that. Anyone who's pushing a black male, black female divide is an enemy, especially in America. Anyone who's pushing that damn feminism stuff is an enemy. And look, we got some coon black females as we do males here. We need to deal with them. But to sit up there and say that black women no good, and then you want an excuse to get a white woman, and vice versa, you're trash. and you helping to contribute to wipe us off of this planet. This is what the white folks want to do. They know that our genes are stronger, so they want to promote interracial marriages. They want to promote some black person marry white, and then that child marry white, and then that's the way to bleach you out. And some of us are willing to do that because we have a low self-esteem and a self-hatred of ourselves. They continue to do so. When you always marry out, you're risking to bleach yourself out. But then you always Negroes talking about, oh, you can't help who you love. That's BS. In this society, you condition to love certain images. You condition to see what is so-called beauty, the so-called beauty standards of this country. You condition from childhood that a certain image and a certain look is the original, is the best beauty standard. Or if you marry someone of this who look this way, it ups your status, which is sick. So it goes to also being a status symbol. We need to basically call these Negroes out, man. Like I said, I'm here in the Chicago, and to let all these immigrants up in here, man, who have no business up in here, man, they need to go home. I'm serious. They shouldn't be all up in here. Flooding them up in here. You giving them, you find ways. You don't have no money for reparations, but you seem to have money for people who are not from here. All right? You have people in this country, in this city, struggling, but you give them money. You come up with millions and millions of dollars for immigrants. You don't have millions and millions of dollars even for programs for these kids in this city or these adults in the city for jobs, but you can come up with money for immigrants. Make it the hell up out of here. It tells you this is a scheme, and the Democratic Party are the head of the scheme, man. Head of the scheme. They are a joke, as well as Republicans, but the Democratic Party are a joke. And then they try to get these little goofy liberals, man, who are really racist, man. I said to my other video, they're racist as hell, man. Liberals are the worst, dude. They smile in your face, the backstabbers. They smile in your face and they backstab your ass. Biden has done nothing, said nothing, told you you're not black if you don't vote for him, that racist bastard. But then you going to these Negroes at this church in South Carolina talking about 4 more years. Them Negroes are basically, they're gone. Self-hating Negroes who are willing to basically throw away anything that we have to continue on with this Democratic Party and continue so they can just continue to smile on and praise these white devils, man. You hear these Negroes talking about, I love Joe Biden. What has he done? What has he done? So he, as well as all these other racist politicians, these so-called Caucasoid politicians, man, will continue to hustle and pimp so-called Negroes. So you're getting all these immigrants flooding into these cities, man. Flooding into these cities. And they have money. They miraculously come up with money to have them stay in fancy hotels. while the average everyday citizens catching hell, man. And then you're supposed to vote them in. They're supposed to go by what is populist wants. Instead, they're helping our people who are not able to vote for them, man. That tells you have no representation. These people are obviously been paid off by some outside entity to do this, man. You don't have no money for, quote, reparations. You don't have no money to help out people in these cities, to get them off the streets, to get the homeless, to get the people who are addicted to drugs, doing prostitution. You don't have no money for them, but you have money for people who are over here illegally. Really? Giving them places to stay, giving them money. I've heard instances where the individuals will get $3,000 a month. I've heard this, man. You have money for that. but you have money to help out the everyday citizen. Get the hell up out of here, man. Obviously, what this is basically population erasure, where they want to erase a certain group of people here by flooding another group of people in. But then you continue to vote not in your best interest. And this is what happens. You continue to blue, no matter who. And you continue to get the same results. We're not going to get ahead, man. Vote for because you like someone the way they speak and everything, man. I'll tell you, man, like I said, these liberals are the worst. Their racism is more sinister. These conservatives are racist as hell. You know that they're racist. But these liberals are much worse, man. They're much more demonic with their type of racism. And they're going to continue to be that way. And you're going to continue to give them your vote. And they continue to do things that's basically counterproductive to you, like flooding your cities with a bunch of criminals. A lot of these people are criminals. They flee in their countries to flee from a prosecution, being prosecuted in their damn countries because they committed so many crimes. You got these dumb laws here where you just drop a baby, anchor kid, and then automatically a citizen. Hey, get the hell up out of here. What other country does that? So, like I said, I don't socialize with white liberals, man. I keep a long arm's distance from them because I know how they get down. They're sick and they're racist as hell, man. Most of these police brutality cases that you see are in these liberal-run cities, man. In these liberal cities. But yet you continue to vote the damn Democratic Party and you continue to get these Negro politicians to give you same damn sorry-ass excuses. They ain't doing nothing. And a bunch of these Negro mads and the Democratic Party have done nothing to tell you to vote Democrat. Man, we're not going to get ahead with that foolishness, man. Listen to these Negroes, man. Listen to these Negroes. You're not going to get ahead. So, I want you to continue to do your critical thinking when you're reading, your research. Do not listen to mainstream Negroes. Mainstream Negroes have you being immigrants, coming over here in a slave ship. That's the only way you can come over here. That's your Boule saying that. Your Boule said that you're too stupid to have the intellectual fortitude to have sailed around the world. No, you just came over here from West Africa, a slave ship. Now you got Negroes said that their ancestors go all the way to Kenya and Ethiopia. I mean, whatever, man. Taking these crazy ass DNA tests, man. But I'm saying this, I'm gonna say this. Our people travel around the world and they settled in different places and they traded. And some actually took in the wives of different regions. I said that in my other video. But don't be mistaken. Majority of our people are already here, and a large number of people out of Europe and some Asia too. Melanated people, black people. So we're gonna have to understand that. We gotta get that mindset that you just came out of West Africa as a slave. That's wrong. That information's wrong. You gotta stop doing that. Stop thinking that because you're a lighter skinned person, because you have white in you. Majority of these black women weren't raped by no white man. Yes, some were, but majority of them weren't. Stop thinking that we come in one physical type feature, or they're so-called white features. White features come from so-called black people. And our hair textures have been very diverse. We are very diverse physical feature people because we are very diverse, come from a very diverse Aboriginal black background of various different black Aboriginal groups. So you have to understand that, man. And you gotta get out of this mess of you brought over here in African slave ship. Because a lot of you Negroes who claim to be educated are some of the most ignorant because you continue to regurgitate what white folks have taught you. Or some Negro scholar who went along with what white folks taught them. That's all these Negroes are doing. They regurgitate what white folks told them. If you had, I said this, use common sense. You see those black people still in India, like the little short black people in the Andaman Islands. You see all the Pacific Islands, which was once all black in Australia. And then I showed you the pictures of the black folks in Europe. And remember, you're told that the black people came in Europe in 711. Man, they were there probably about 4,500, 45,000 years ago, man. So what the hell? So if Negroes were there then, those Negroes just came in at a later time. But still, you had your black folks there, and obviously you had them in America. Why can't you have them in America? North and South, what is now known as North and South. How come you didn't have them? See, it doesn't make any sense. If so-called melanated people were in other regions, why weren't they here in America? Why do they keep telling you that a paler Siberian people were here first? No, they weren't. Those people had invaded like South Asia, causing many of those black people to, so many had invaded that region, caused many of those black people to basically abandon and probably flee to different areas, like to, excuse me, to certain Pacific islands and to other areas that were, how would you say, east of what you call Asia. Yeah. Caused many of the black population there to flee and move out. Because they started to invade in that region. These pillar people. So they came more of a, I'm going to say more of a southward expansion, like was south and up. It's pretty obvious once you start studying, you can notice that. You can see that. But we've been conditioned to think that we could not have been the original people here because we were over in West Africa with some tribe. That we were some tribe over in West Africa. Which is, I keep telling people that's not true, man. Stop listening. Stop saying that. Stop making yourself an immigrant in a land that you're indigenous to. You're Aboriginal to. You're the first to. Stop making yourself an immigrant. Stop listening to people with my Johnson telling you that you're an immigrant in your own land. Stop listening to people like that. Those are uninformed idiots. So you have to understand who you really are. So you have to study it. Like I said, you can't just do a Google. That stuff is so garbage, man. The information that you get from Google half the time, it's total garbage. You're going to have to put in the real research. Right? So you don't hear, like, for me, you're not going to hear that manosphere nonsense and all that stuff. I'm going to talk about some real issues. All right? You're not going to hear no manosphere goofiness, talking about what black men ought to do and get themselves a woman that's not a black woman. All that crazy ass stuff. Them Negroes do that at coons. All of them. All right? My main thing is let you know who the hell you really are. And connect all the dots. You have to connect all the dots. Because if you don't connect all the dots, you're lost. All right, brothers and sisters, your brother G World 7_D. It's a long enough video for me to say. But yeah, continue to do your research, brothers and sisters. Continue to learn who you truly are. Take back your true history and stop seeing yourself as an immigrant and as a foreigner. Because when you say you're descendant of African slaves, you're saying that you are a foreigner. That you are the first foreigners that came here. No, you're not a foreigner. You are the original people here. You are not descendant of African slaves. You're descendant of the Aboriginal blacks who already were here. I know some of you don't want to hear this because you weren't taught this, but that's the truth. You're not descendant of African blacks who brought over no slave ship. Majority of your ancestors were already here. But you're going to have to study that and research that and have an open mind to true history. Study these mounds, man. Study the mound culture. Study the pyramids. who were building pyramids. That was Negroes who was doing that. This is why these bastards try to make Egypt white. It's genetically impossible that were white. Those were Negroes. And then they want to just say Egypt, what we know is Egypt, was just in northeast Africa. That's a lie. So you got to do your research. Stop listening to these Negroes telling you that you're descendants of African slaves or that we're a new race of people. That's nonsense, man. We're not a new race of people. New group of people. That's a goddamn lie. We have the ancient old blood of the Aboriginal black people that were here. How the hell we a new race of people? A new breed of people. Stop listening to these Negroes tell you this stuff, man. These Negroes, like I said, they go and get this education at these white institutions or these Negro HBCU schools, and they come out dumber than what they went in. So, all right. Peace and love.